What do you want? I'm on Facebook.
Master Hinton, I'd like to discuss a personal problem with you.
Only one, Lindsay.
But really, when I was a baby, my parents always dressed me like a boy and treated me like a boy, just like my brother. And now I feel like I was born into the wrong body. I feel like my experiences have shaped me, and now I'm really considering gender reassignment.
It's funny that you say you think you were shaped by your experiences. That's the nurture part of nature-nurture theory that John Money did research on. As I've told you a million times in class, which we all know you don't listen and you don't come to class because you don't have the teachers, so you're not worrying about that. But anyway, you need to know all about your discipline's history. So let me give you a little bit background information on Dr. John Money and his research on the nature-nurture theory and gender reassignment.
Nature-nurture was first coined by Sir Francis Galton in the 1800s. The nature-nurture theory is the relative importance of a person's innate qualities versus personal experiences in determining individual differences in physical and behavioral traits. Galton was influenced by his cousin Charles Darwin and his book On the Origin of Species. John Money was born July 8, 1921 and died July 7, 2006 of complications from Parkinson's disease. He initially studied psychology at the Victoria University of Wellington, graduating with a double master's in psychology, philosophy, and education in 1944. He then emigrated to the U.S. to study at the University of Pittsburgh in 1947, and he earned his Ph.D. from Harvard in 1952. Dr. Money became a professor of pediatric and medical psychology at Johns Hopkins University from 1951 until his death in 2006. During his productive career, John Money received many accolades, including being recognized as one of the pioneers of pediatric psychology. In 1972, he presented his study at the annual meeting at the American Association for the Advancement of Science, and on the same day he released his book, Man and Woman, Boy and Girl. In 2002, John Money was awarded the Magnus Hirschfeld Medal from the German Society for Social Scientific Sexuality Research. At Johns Hopkins University, Money ran studies on gender reassignments in the Sexual Behaviors Unit. Using his previous research on the nature-nurture theory, Money then led research on the theory of gender neutrality and sex reassignment. Money believed that babies identify their gender through social learning and that until age 2, gender identification can be determined by how a child is nurtured. The opportunity to prove this arose when the parents of Bruce and Brian Reimer contacted him. David Reimer was born as a male identical twin. His birth name was Bruce. His twin was named Brian. At the age of 8 months, a urologist performed the operation using the unconventional method of cauterization for their circumcisions, and Bruce's penis was burned beyond surgical repair. The Reimers had seen Money being interviewed on the Canadian news program based on his work with intersex patients, so they took Bruce to Dr. Money. Money suggested to the Reimers that Bruce would live a happy and healthy life if he were raised as a female. At the age of 21 months, Bruce's testicles were removed. Bruce was renamed Brenda and raised as a female. However, Brenda did not really fit in as a girl.
13-year-old Brenda appeared to be having a hard time adjusting to being a teenager and fitting in with her peers.
Brenda had almost no friends growing up. Girls didn't want to play with her because she wanted to play boy things. And boys, of course, didn't want a girl in their games.
At age 13, Money was pressuring Brenda's parents to finish the transition by constructing a vagina. Brenda rebelled about the surgery and threatened to commit suicide if she was forced to visit Dr. Money again, so her parents decided to tell her the truth about everything.
This was the first time in her life she started to feel happy. She said she wanted to be a boy.
At that moment, she said, I do not want to be a girl, I want to be a boy. So
Brenda wanted to reclaim her gender and changed her name to David. She underwent a number of surgeries to give her a more masculine body. While David was much happier as a male, he still struggled with depression. David was afraid he would never find an accepting partner and attempted suicide 3 times before he met and married a woman named Jane and raised their 3 children. However, David still battled depression, especially following the suicide of his twin brother who had developed schizophrenia. At the age of 38, David committed suicide on May 4, 2004. This was the first infant sex reassignment that had been conducted on a male who was born with normal genitalia. John Money thought that Brenda's sex reassignment would ultimately prove that babies are psychosexually neutral at birth and that it is nurturing that forces us to identify with one gender, but instead this experiment proved just the opposite. After 7 years of watching Brenda, Money claimed the sex reassignment was successful during several news coverages and at the 1972 conference at the American Association for the Advancement of Science. He claimed success by stating that Brenda's behavior was so clearly that of an active little girl and so different from the boyish ways of her twin brother. He claimed that the case reinforced the idea of gender as a social construct. However, Money failed to mention the difficulties Brenda had throughout her childhood, socially, academically, and mentally. And after further inquiries and interviews with David himself, many people say the sex reassignment was not successful. Milton Diamond and John Calipinto revealed the truth about Brenda's difficulties. By 1980, Money had stopped bringing up Brenda's case and deflected all inquiries about the true outcome. The controversy of this case brought out the truth.
Into schizophrenia. Then something happened when they were adults that would draw the twins together. David discovered their former psychologist, Dr. Money, continued to publicize the case as a success, proof that a boy could be raised as a girl.
I was appalled, disgusted, and angry when I heard about it, because it was nothing further than the truth.
You're a cute little boy.
3 decades after this misguided experiment.
To try to prevent others from...
Although Money remains controversial, he still contributed significantly to psychology and the study of human nature. The results of Money's experiment showed that depending on the case, nature can hold just as much or greater weight than nurture, which is why genital altering surgery should not be performed on infants. Money's reluctance to report the failure of his sex reassignment experiment resulted in thousands of surgical reassignments to other infants based on his faulty research. From using Money's research, it is concluded that gender reassignment during infancy is not the best solution to intersexuality, and that sex reassignment should be delayed until the child shows tendencies towards one gender over the other. Today, doctors are far more cautious of trying to re-engineer biology in this way, particularly in the cases of badly damaged genitals when the genetic sex was clear at birth. Money also influenced the establishment of transsexuality as a diagnostic category and an academic discipline. Today, this research is used for the development of sex reassignment for transsexual individuals as well as intersex individuals. Money's research placed an emphasis on the impact of nurture. Although Money's research was unsuccessful, it still produced useful information on the nature-nurture debate that continues today. We now understand more clearly that both nature and nurture hold a significant importance in development.
Master Hanson, thank you for educating me so well.
Of course, Lindsay. I'm a slave in Chandler. I'm always teaching.